My name is DR.AyieraJR. So it's lovely to see you again. Check the scoreboard, yeah. You need to look the part. You need to look the entrepreneur. You need to look good. But I will. You got me set for life. Angels in heaven. Nobody talks about the faith that you need before you start seeing the results.
Welcome to Faith, until we make it.
So, from where we left last week, we were talking about building a business or how I started, and I had left you on the point where I had started now. Kryptonite, I had registered it. And I had mentioned in our previous episode that how I got to register my business is I became a broker between businesses and other businesses. I was giving them people to work, then I get paid for it, then I pay the people. So I went and registered the company. So that's why I left you in the last episode. Kwa hii episode sasa, wacha tuanze kuongea, nisha register hiyo biashara. Tumeigrow aje to the point of having Kryptonite outsourcing, having Kryptonite Academy, having Kryptonite digital media. Because now in Kryptonite family, we have 3 businesses that are up and running, right? So I started I had registered it as Kryptonite outsourcing, the outsourcing company. I was getting companies, people to work. And the first few days were not easy, of course. Even right now, it's not easy. You never get there in business. That's something that I've realized. Let me tell you a story before niende huko nyuma tena. One of these fine days, was it last year? I can't remember when it was. One of my employees, one of my clients tells people they need to start working from the office. What happens is I tell the people, our client has said, or all the clients have said, because you're not delivering, you need to come to the office. Everyone decides they're not coming to the office at the same time. Nilikasirika, wote walikataa kukuja. Nilikasirika na nikasema, you know what, I'm writing an email and firing everyone. And our IT person was there encouraging me, andika your message, andika your email, wafute wote. But you do not work like that in business. You do not work with emotions. You do not work with your emotions do not control you. You need to be emotionally intelligent for you to run a proper business. So that is one of the scenarios that really made me think business is not as easy as we think. As I had started my journey of building Kryptonite outsourcing, at some point, there was a point I did not have the client. Remember, I started as a broker, getting people register the business, but now the client that nilikuwa ninapatia employees akakuja akaacha kuwork na Kenyans at some point. I had to go back to zero. I just have a registered business but no clients. So what did I have to do? Go back to look for clients, come up with proper system, make it work. Then I got to the point of now having another client, then the other client sustained us to the point of building up until right now. Actually, let's talk about the legal processes of registering a company. The way I registered my company, I did not register it as a private limited company or as a public limited company. I registered it as a solo proprietorship. And the fact that I registered as a solo proprietorship, that was the easiest way for me to get into business. I registered the name, then I started operating the business. So I tend to feel that the legal processes were way easier for me in terms of I registered it as a solo proprietorship. Over time, Doni may register as a private limited company, and it was necessary for me to register it as a private limited company because I got an investor that wanted to invest in my business, and they could not invest in a solo proprietorship, so I had to turn it into a private limited. So, having said that, as well. Now that I have registered a business and it has started working under the name Kryptonite Outsourcing, what happened is there are a few lessons that I've been learning along the way and few lessons that I would say out to my listeners out there. Do you think building a business as a woman is easy? I am not sure, but what has been my experience? That is where now faith comes in. Because there is a segment that I did previously that Sitting on the table with men that have already had it, that have already been in the business, it is not easy. And if you're starting out for the first time, it doesn't become easier as you go. So there have been challenges here and there. And the challenges that I get to see as a woman that is in business is the fact that sometimes that confidence is not there, but I'm learning along the way. And now that I'm learning along the way, I have gotten to the point of saying I'm confident enough to advise someone on what and what they cannot do when it comes to business as a woman. And as a young entrepreneur that is starting out, you can learn a few things from me here and there. So, and another thing that you need to remember is I restarted this business as a broker. After starting this business as a broker, what happened is I ended up getting into another heartbreak. This is the second heartbreak I am getting into. Nani malizia kila kitu. You remember the first heartbreak that I got into when I was advising people on love? Then I went to YouTube and deleted everything. Now this is the second heartbreak I'm getting into. And this second heartbreak, it gets me in my business. I have just one client, the one that I had given clients to, the one that I'd given workers to, three of them. So, in this scenario, when I go through this heartbreak, what happens is I do not become consistent. I stop following up on what people are doing. I stop following up on business segment. I stop following up on so many things. And I end up losing this particular client because the employees were not delivering. I wasn't teaching them on what they need to do because I was the one that was aware of what that particular business was. So I ended up losing this particular client, and I end up not having clients. So it took me time, of course, to heal from the heartbreak. And the fact that it took me time to heal from the heartbreak, when I was getting back now into the scene of business again, which had taken me uh close to 6 months, 6 7 months, I didn't have any clients. I just had a business, but it didn't wasn't making money or anything. What happened is I exercised faith. You remember I started as a broker. I did not have a portfolio. I did not have anything. Now I had to come back and exercise faith. What does that look like? Went back and started gathering the things that I'd put together, audios that my workers were doing a good job, and all those things. Then I had to go and now start selling those things to the clients. And how was I selling them? I was just telling myself and telling them, I really have good employees that can really work for you in this scenario, or that can bring in uh good ethics and all those things. So that is what I started to do so that I can get back into business. Create the portfolio, have faith, prayed about the business again, then got back into the scene by looking for clients. And I looked them through online. I got to the point of now having my first client, and my first client did a referral to the next client, and I grew from the second client to the third client to the fourth client to the fifth client, and it got to a point that I had even transitioned from the field that I was earlier on, because I was in the cold calling field. Now I had transitioned into the medical field, and the fact that I transitioned into the medical field opened a lot of doors for me. Let me talk about the medical field that I am in. I outsource medical virtual assistants to companies. It got to the point that the medical virtual assistant, I got a few people, trained them, got to work. And another thing that I realized is we did not have enough medical virtual assistants. So it opened another business for me, which is Kryptonite Academy. I had to train people and get them on job. So that is how my business has practically grown from one business to the other, just holding on to the faith that we get to see, or that we get to work with on a daily basis. Do you remember me working in the call center? Kitambo kidogo, I had talked about this working in the call center in the first episode when I was introducing that I was a terrible employee. I used to come to work for 2 days, alafu hizo 3 days zingine si show up, sijui mi ni mgonjwa, sijui mtu wa kwetu amekufa. Hao watu wenye walikuwa wanakufa wengine hata hawakukuwa ukweli, tulikuwa tu story hapa na pale. But I was such a terrible employee. I still remember that. But now you remember the scenario that I was talking to you about, the call center situation. The call center prepared me a lot because I was working with US based client in that particular call center. And the fact that I was working with US based client, it gave me the platform on how is a business run, especially in this field. Because I got into a similar business like the one that I was working in a call center. Right now, I outsource employees that work in a call center scenario. So I now understood what is required of me in business. For example, with working in the call center, for example, I need people that have a neutral accent. I need people that are well articulate. I need people that are ABCD. So I got to learn that while I was working in the call center. And sometimes I get to realize that I wasn't just missing work because I wanted to miss work. It's because I wasn't mentally fine. I was experiencing burnout. I was experiencing all those things. Right now, it is easy for me to be graceful as an employer to my employees by the fact that I learned that from the particular call center that I worked for. And another thing that prepared me is, you remember when I was talking about my friend Charles that now brought me into the remote world. Mwenye alini, what is it called? Mwenye aliniambia, unataka kulipwa in dollars. Then I moved into working with Charles in that particular company that I got fired instantly. So that as well prepared me. When I got fired, what happened is I contacted the person that we used to work with. And that particular person, what they did to me is they told me, where can I get this client? Because I went online and looked for the opportunities myself. And the fact that I looked for opportunities myself, I got the opportunities as an employee. Now I was going back with the preparation of being now an employer, because now I wasn't looking to be employed. I was looking to employ other people, and I was going there with a mind of, I'm gonna now get clients so who can build me. So the thing is, everything that we get to learn in our journey, or everything that we get to experience, it prepares us in one way or another to the scenario or to the things that we want to do in life. For example, the call center prepared me on the kind of employees that I need. When I transitioned remote, it prepared me to the point of how I can get employers. When I had businesses that were up and running, failing, I knew it was financial problems. It was maybe I wasn't doing the right thing. I learned a few things. Up until right now, I am learning. So the thing that I want to tell you, the one listener that is always listening to me, is that for you to build a business, or for you to be in a position where you are saying that you're a serial entrepreneur, is you have to have learned from all the other things that you are failing, learning, picking lessons. We are always picking lessons on our daily journey. So that's what I want to leave you with, is you need a lot of faith when you are starting your business. And you do not take these particular things that are failing as failure. You are taking them as a learning process as you exercise faith in your growth journey as you go by. This was the second episode of Faith Until We Make It. And what we talk about here is our entrepreneurial journey. You will listen to mine. I'll bring people someday so that you can listen to their entrepreneurial journey. Apart from that, is we are talking to that particular one person that is about to start, that has an idea or starting out. And I will love to see you next week, same time, same place. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe if you've not subscribed. Follow me on my other channels, that is the TikTok page, the Facebook page, the Instagram page. And thank you for listening again. So see you guys. Bye. Check the scoreboard. Yeah. You need to look the part. You need to look the entrepreneur. You need to look good. But I will. You got me set for life. Angels in heaven. Nobody talks about the faith that you need before you start seeing the results.
Welcome to Faith Until We Make It.